Welcome. I don't know if my voice sounds like weird or just not normal, but my throat is really sore, so just gonna get through it. Probably gonna be a shorter stream because I don't even know how long I'm gonna be able to talk. Been feeling sick for a few days, so always gonna show up no matter what the market. I mean, right now I'm like sick. The market was super red. Bad day for the trades. But again, like I always say, I'm showing up because the stream is the stream. It doesn't matter what else is happening. So let's push through it. I'm just gonna start with Bitcoin. Just range bound. Usually I don't look at the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin, but it really is just painting the story right now after it broke that demand line over the weekend on that flash crash or whatever you want to call it. You just kind of been going sideways, and for the last 2 days I've been saying on Bitcoin, there's not much of an edge, and really the buyers and the sellers are just a little bit confused. People for the short term at least are just not too, on one hand, people are not too confident in Bitcoin going up, and then on the other hand, people are not too scared that it's going to drop, right? So you're getting that indecision for the short term. I do believe that long term, you're obviously still in a very nice bull market, bull trend for all of crypto. But just for the short term, not too much of a probability to either side, in my opinion, until we get a pattern or some divergence or something like that to really base thesis off of. Okay, Better Free says you aged on us by 30 years. It sounds like, yeah, my voice is like weird right now. I just kind of woke up like that. But oh yeah, Cheddar Freeze, thank you for the thumbnail. For everybody who celebrates 420, hopefully you're enjoying the stream right now, or maybe you're off doing other things, but I don't know. Just wanted to mention that. Of course, a lot of people were talking about two things going into today being 420. One was pot stocks. They didn't do too well, just like most stocks today. And the other was Dogecoin, which also did not do too well in the last half of the day. I believe Dogecoin did well in the morning. We could look at it really quickly. But I want to talk about the market. It's just so weird hearing my own voice right now. Alright, so let's go look at Dogecoin. I mean, let's see. Was this today? Today's the 20th. Let's see. Yeah, so you had like a very nice, not really. You've actually pretty much been dropping all day now that I look at it. I haven't even looked at Dogecoin really today, so obviously I'm not going to really do any technicals right now, but just kind of looking at that. Let's talk about the market. I don't really know how this stream is going to be structured. It's probably just going to be like a very quick recap stream, and then I might get out of here. But in terms of the market, it was rough for pretty much most things today. Just like the S&P and the Nasdaq, we've been talking about that every night on stream for the past 4 or 5 days, and I've been saying I'm bearish on the S&P and Nasdaq for the short term because of all the reasons I've been bringing up: the top of the wedge, the 2618 fib level, the bearish divergence, the overbought RSI, the bearish candles on the daily, which are continuing to appear. So for all those reasons, I've been bearish on the S&P and the Nasdaq. But my thesis was that even though I am bearish on the S&P and Nasdaq, I just felt that a lot of small cap names can still hang in there because they never got to enjoy the rally that the S&P and Nasdaq did. They were just kind of dumping all throughout this rally that the S&P and Nasdaq have seen. And yesterday, a lot of small caps did do pretty well, especially a lot of the trades. Today, looking at the member trades right now, it wasn't bad at all. Really only one that was bad today for the member trades was Fubo, which was down 4%. But everything aside from that, I mean, Fisker, we're going to talk about it with the Bank of America upgrade. I believe in the morning it went up to 1455 to test that as resistance. Fisker was up today. DNLI was only down 1%. PGRE was down 3%, but that trade's still in profit. ESPR was up 2%, VIR was up 2%, and Zoom was pretty flat. So for the member trades today, it was actually pretty fine. I mean, regardless of how bad the market was and how bad most sectors were, looking at the trades for the member trades, they were good. But this is one of the first days where the premium trades just were horrible. So if we have any premium members in here today, pretty tough. Today was probably the worst day for premium trades since they started. So yeah, that just sucks. But to be fair, like the last 3-4 weeks, the premium trades have been the ones that have been really doing well with the market, and then the member trades have been trash. So at least the member trades are hanging in there. And VIR already hit that first target yesterday, but let's just talk a little bit more about the market before I go into the trades and maybe do some requests. So my voice really does sound different tonight. I feel like it's going in and out. I swear I'm not trying to make it different. It's just like the back of my throat's like rough right now, if that makes sense. I'm drinking some tea. Member premium trades rotation. That's actually ironically extremely true. I mean, if you really look at it, like that makes sense as well, because a lot of the premium trades were the tech, large cap stocks. So obviously they were going up with the market, and then recently they've been pulling back. But I really think with a lot of the premium trades today, I just messed up the timing. I probably shouldn't have put out. I should have waited until today to put them out, but I tried putting them out yesterday. But we'll see. There's a few of them that did take huge hits today, unfortunately. But let's talk about my thoughts on the technicals going into tomorrow. You're still showing the bearish divergence on the S&P 4-hour. You're no longer overbought on the RSI. So you had a pretty big fall there on the RSI, which good, nice. It's nice to reset your RSI when you're overbought. That's good. And I like when the RSI is really between 50 and 70. That means like you're not overbought, but you're not like in bearish territory, which is something I learned from Mitch Ray, because most people only use the RSI for overbought, which is above 70, and oversold below 30. But there's like really two other zones within this box. The upper zone is more bullish and the lower zone is more bearish typically. But yeah, I mean, the S&P, the way I have my wedge charted, you topped out and you pulled back. So wasn't a surprise to me at all. Even right here on the top, I alerted the Discord saying you're pretty much at the top right now. I said that on Friday. I came here for CV who this, I don't even know. But yeah, I mean, if we're looking at the S&P going into tomorrow, futures are down. S&P futures are down, like they're pretty much flat, but the NASDAQ futures are down about 1/3% right now. So still not looking good. Again, you're probably going to have a few just, reflex bounce days for the S&P and the NASDAQ. But I still think that this move to the downside is not over yet, just because you have so much more room to fall before you hit, major supports. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have bounces. Like earlier today, the one good thing that I shared with the premium members earlier today was I shared some SPY calls right after I saw this bullish pin bar appear, and the SPY calls went up like 10-15%. I was just saying, like, yeah, just be conservative with your profit taking. It's only a day trade, and those worked out pretty well, but other than that, it was a little bit tough. And then the NASDAQ looks not good either ever since that hanging man candle, 2 consecutive red days. At least you're close to support on the NASDAQ. You're not close to support on the S&P by any means. But on the NASDAQ, you're about 150 points away from this previous resistance, which could easily act as a support. You also filled a gap today on the NASDAQ. I think you filled a gap on the S&P. No, it's not on the daily, but if you go down to like the 30-minute, you can see we filled this gap right over here, if you see that gap. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I really don't have too much of a bias specifically going into tomorrow. Like, I'm still like short-term bearish on the S&P and NASDAQ, but you just did have 2 red days to start off the week. So if we get like a green day thrown in there, I wouldn't be surprised as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got another red day. So I'm just kind of neutral going into tomorrow. I definitely was bearish for the S&P and NASDAQ the last 2 days, which I've talked about on stream. But tomorrow I'm just going to be a little bit more neutral. Maybe see what the bulls can do for a day or two, and just kind of react to whatever does happen, because obviously you're still in a very nice uptrend. So just looking at some takers now. We're going to look at Fisker first. Make sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Netflix earnings, oh my gosh. We can talk about Netflix right before Fisker. It's only going to take me like 1 or 2 minutes, but Netflix, I think they beat revenue and something else, but they missed on like subscriber growth. I don't exactly remember what they were saying. I was in class when I was looking at the news, but yeah, it was down like 12% after hours the last time I looked at it. I can look at it again really quickly. So Netflix stock, it closed down about 9% red after hours. So that's a very, very big move for Netflix. Typically, Netflix has like, I'd say on average, and this is not like factual, but just based on, from my interpretation, Netflix usually doesn't have more than a 4%, I can't even talk, a 4% swing in a day. Typically, Netflix is not super volatile. It's very large cap, and it's pretty rare to see over 4% green or red days for Netflix. Like, you know, it's just one of those bigger stocks that doesn't move too crazy, but it was down like 10-12% within minutes after hours on that earnings. So probably going to gap down tomorrow on Netflix. Going to be interested to see how that affects Fubo, which is one of the trades in a similar industry. Not exactly, but yeah, we'll kind of see what happens there. I'm all sort of messed up right now. Cheddar freeze. I'm gonna be messing up my words a lot tonight. I don't know. I'm just out of it. Let's see. But we kind of talked about everything in terms of the indices. Let's talk about Fisker. In the morning, is my ceiling made of brick? That's not real brick. It's like a kind of like a like a textured wallpaper. It's not like just like a plain like stick-on wallpaper. It's like a, I don't even know the word for it, but it's fake brick, but like not. It's not like a plain sheet. It's like you could feel it, but it's not true brick. I don't know, but hopefully that gave you some sort of idea. So Fisker in the morning, they I think Bank of America came out with some news. And some like an upgrade to $31, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Brad Beelburner in the chat says, yeah, the Netflix subscription numbers were way down. That's what I was thinking. And on Fisker in the morning had a very nice move. I did have some call options in Fisker this morning, and I took profits on them this morning. I'm gonna explain to you why. So I had some calls for Fisker. I think I had the I don't even remember. I think they were like April 30th, like $16 calls or something out of the money. And this morning, I woke up at 9:30, my alarm went off, and I saw that Fisker was up very nicely in pre-market, and then it was moving up towards that 1455 area. And what happened? You flipped 1455 into a resistance, and once I saw that, I took profits on my options, and then you went from 1455 all the way back down to 1261 at one point, which is terrible. I mean, you had a very, very big move. You had a 13% move, and then you fell 13%, and then you kind of just closed up a little bit up. You closed up 4%, so that's still nice, but you have like a little gap there on the 4 hour. The gap's not on the daily though, so you're good on the daily. But yeah, 1455 for the first time is now being confirmed as your resistance again. Remember, that was the mega support from over here in that Wyckoff schematic. Now it's your resistance. That was confirmed by the sellers today, and that's also where I sold my calls, just because they were out of the money, and you still are in a downtrend. So two good things. One, you showed some signs of life, even though yes, it did get sold off. That just probably means a lot of bag holders and day traders were trying to exit their positions. But you are really starting to develop that 4 hour classic bullish divergence. Again, it's still a little bit weird. It went from red to green back to red, so it's not perfect, but still are developing that. Your daily MACD has not stopped. I mean, it did for a little bit, but you're still somehow waning on the daily MACD, even though it's not divergence because you made a lower low on price as well. And your daily RSI, again, is oversold for the second time in Fisker's history. The last time it was oversold pretty much around this level. Went from $9 to $23 in like literally a month, like a month and a half. Really, yeah, pretty much like a month. So we'll see what happens. Fubo, this was the worst performer out of the member trades today. I think after hours it was down as well, so that's not good. Really yesterday when I alerted this trade, it started off like really hot, and then it just pulled back today with the market, right? Most things were down today. Let me get some tea. So big pullback on Fubo. It was down 4%. Still looks fine. You're above $18. I don't know if you fell under that after hours. I did see that it was down. But as long as you can hold above $18 on your candle closes on Fubo, you're good, okay? You have yet to close a daily candle under 18. As long as you never do that, not much to worry about, okay? We'll move on to DNLI. Yeah, props to Cheddar Freeze for the thumbnail again. Yeah, 420 SPY on 420 would have been awesome. TV Repairman says, I saw your boxing videos. I'm considering taking those down just because now that I go back and like look at them, like I just wasn't that good when I made those videos. I was still like really just trying to learn but maybe I'll keep them up and like put like an updated video and people could like see my progress. I don't even really know why I uploaded those. I just kind of felt like it really had nothing to do with the stocks or whatever, but I just like randomly uploaded them. DNLI, it actually somehow managed to close above support. I didn't even see this. I was pretty busy, but you broke your support, but you never confirmed that candle close on the daily. So the trade's only down very little going into tomorrow, and you reclaimed your support. You did not reclaim the 200-day moving average, which I would still like to see that happen like tomorrow, because yesterday you were back testing it as support. So really, you just want to stay above $52 for your daily candle close tomorrow. PGRE. This is tough, all right? It was so good, okay? This trade is still up. It's still in profit by what, like 5%? 4%. So this trade's still up 4%, but it was finally breaking out of that huge level at 1053. There was no resistance until the targets, and then the market just pulled it. You know, market had a pretty rough day, and this just fell with the market, and now you're back under. So it's really hard to really kind of give a thesis at this point, because you already were breaking out and now you're not, and you're not showing the hidden bullish divergence anymore. But if you have a green day tomorrow, you might be able to. Just funny stuff happening with the market. And then the two trades, or the two other trades that were up, ESPR was up 2.5%, so good stuff. As long as you're above 26, it's good. I think I alerted this on Friday. Currently you're up, let's see, currently up about 3% since the alert on Friday. The divergence still looks good, and I didn't actually update like the weekly sheet today. I just wasn't feeling good. I'll do it tomorrow. I mean, it's not a huge deal. So I was just in bed and eating dinner, but I made it to the stream, right? So I did something. And yeah, ESPR, nice, still looks nice. BIR hit the first target yesterday morning, I believe, and today it just tested 49 as resistance yet again. And then finally Zoom, like I say every single night, I don't even really know what to talk about at this point on Zoom. It just doesn't do anything. So we'll talk about it once it does something. And yeah, NASDAQ futures falling a little bit more. Currently futures are pointing to another red day tomorrow for the broader markets. Hopefully that will not include SPACs and EVs, because they already got crushed, but you never know. And then the other thing is, like, of course they could change overnight. Rooster says that he would fight Jake Paul. You could take a punch better than Nate Robinson. All right. Appreciate the support, DF. But yeah, I mean, this is probably just going to be a quicker stream. I already just covered like a quick recap of what I wanted to talk about. So if you really have something that you genuinely want me to look at, again, I'm feeling kind of sick. I'm just like, something that you think looks interesting. Again, don't request something that's up like 55% today. Something you really think I might like, just drop it in the chat and I'll take a look. And I'm just going to take a request for probably like 15-20 minutes. And then after the take a request, probably going to go to sleep. So hopefully I feel better tomorrow. But yeah, stocks, cryptos, metals, whatever it is. All right, let me put this aside. I'm gonna start off with SRPT. Oh yeah, we were looking at this one earlier, I believe, and you were talking about the deep crab having like the deeper retrace on X to B. Yeah, I mean, I don't know which day we looked at it, but I don't know if this already had happened when we looked at it last, but it's pulled back again. We go down over to the 4 hour. Did you fill the gap? Yeah, you filled your gap today, which is good. I mean, it looks the same from the last time I looked at it. You're still, I mean, maybe you can start calling this like an inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, but like the neckline would be a little bit scuffed, I guess. And still the divergence. Really not much has changed on the chart. Would this be the confirmation low currently? I'm not too sure. It also just depends on what the market's looking like, right? That could just kind of mess things up a little bit. But yeah, if you start curling back upwards, it definitely could be a confirmation low, just a higher low. Let's see. Um, you really fight me on making 100% gains on these Nasdaq IPOs. Nobody's fighting you. I mean, congratulations. I'm not here to knock down however somebody's trading. I'm just trading how I'm trading, right? Like, I'm not trying to make you trade how I trade. So everybody has their own way of trading, whatever works best for them. And as long as you're doing well, congratulations. Let's see. So ZOM, Roku. Oh yeah, Clover. So they are on the short sale restriction. They had over a 10% red day today. We didn't even talk about Clover, so we'll do Clover after ZOM and Roku. Again, on ZOM, we've been looking at like every night. You actually somehow are developing your 4-hour classic bullish divergence again, which is great. So hopefully that can give the price a bounce up. But again, like I've been saying every single night, you need to get back over 88 cents. And until then, nothing really has changed. You don't have like a new pattern that's appeared. You're not really out of support. You just have this divergence and you're hoping it gets you back above 88 cents, but it might not ever do that. You never know. Or at least in the short term. Roku, wow. And that was not a voice crack. That was just my voice being weird because I have a sore throat. Alright. But I do get a lot of voice cracks. Roku, I don't even know. It kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders, but like, I guess your neckline would be this. Let's see. Like left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I mean, your right shoulder could really come all the way back down here. So it's like there's not like a confirmed right shoulder yet, but we'll see what happens. It looks pretty interesting. As long as you can hold above 319, it looks pretty good in my opinion. And then this would be your, looks like the Nasdaq. This will be your resistance. Like you had like a head and shoulders turning into an inverse head and shoulders. So it kind of looks like the Nasdaq, and you're just kind of in between both of them, right? You're still under the neckline for the regular bearish head and shoulders, and then you're still potentially going to make an inverse head and shoulders. So it's just like whichever way it breaks will probably be the continuation, either to the downside or to the upside, but obviously still in a very parabolic run. But yeah, let's talk about Clover. Not good. I think it's a combination of a few things. The Bears really did regain some control in the Bulls. I don't know where they were at. I mean, you had two really crazy days of volume on Clover, and today, I don't know, just nobody showed up to the party, I guess, right? You confirmed your breakout yesterday. Everything was lined up, and honestly, this is just a case of technicals not working, right? This is why I always say technicals are just a probability. They're never a certainty. They can, they're not always going to work. And this is a perfect example of that. You broke out of a major range and you fell under 920. If you rewatch last night's stream, I did say you need to hold above 920. I think my exact wording was like, as long as you stay above 920, you're fine. It didn't stay above 920, right? It fell under 920 and then you got continuation to the downside. So rough, right? Pretty big pullback on Clover. Just, I don't know. It was a combination of the red market of breaking under 920, which was your previous resistance, and you're trying to flip it into your support. You were successfully doing that yesterday, at least. And then what else? Just really low volume and just unfortunate, right? Just not good. You did also fill a gap, which I guess is good. Had this little gap area going into tomorrow. You're just back in that range, and you don't want to be in this range because it just gets boring in this range between 7 and 9, just ping-ponging back and forth, and you were finally breaking out of it, and then you came right back in. So we'll never know what the exact reason was. I mean, it could have just been the red market that pulled it back, and then maybe that just kills the hype. So, or maybe it's just the fact that more people are getting concerned with how that first short interest report was not like accurate, and people finally really realizing that. But again, like I said last night, that's not even how I'm looking at it. Like, I don't care whether this has a 147% short interest. Like, I care more about how it's looking and the fact that it still is squeezable regardless of the first reported short interest. So I'm still in some Clover calls. I'm still hodling, but that's not me telling you to do the same, of course. Follow your own risk tolerance strategy, and yeah. Okay, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I mean, it's your major support is $7 and your major resistance is $9. You're closer to 9, so hopefully you can get back above that, right? Does the crypto market need to slow down before the small cap market heats up again? I'm not too educated on the correlation between small caps and crypto. I feel like I wouldn't see a reason for them to be super correlated or inverse correlated. But yeah, I mean, recently cryptos, like altcoins, have been crushing it while small caps have been not doing well at all, dumping, right? So yeah, just final round. If anybody wants to take a look at anything for them, I'm probably just going to delete this stream. I don't even know. It was just like, I just figured I'd just try and go live for a little bit to cover what I wanted to. So, because I always say I'm going to be showing up no matter what. So I just wanted to show up. And you know, it goes with anything in life, right? No matter how crappy things are, you just got to show up day in and day out, right? But if you want me to take a look at some final takers, drop it in the chat. We'll look at DraftKings. But water, vitamins, and rest. Yeah, you saw it last night too. I've been having so much medicine, so much water. Rest, not so much. I definitely should rest more. I think I slept for like 5 hours last night, maybe 6. Earnings May 8th on DraftKings. Did Kathy Wood buy more DraftKings today? It broke the neckline, so that's bearish in my opinion. Broke the neckline of the head and shoulders, so you have a confirmed head and shoulders now. Can it get invalidated? Sure. Maybe the technicals don't play out. Where would your next support be? It makes sense to me why you bounced off of 53.73 perfectly. And I always talk about this, right? Where your previous pivot areas can turn into your current pivot areas. So if we look at 53.73, which was your low today, let me go back in time. It was your high on November 30th, right? So that's your level you're looking at, 53.73. So your resistance is honestly I'd say it's around like $57 to $58, which was that neckline of the head and shoulders. And your support is 53.73, so you're kind of in between both of them. This is a bearish structure, but you're in a bullish trend. So bearish structures tend to underperform in bullish trends, but they still do perform to a certain extent, and that's what you're currently seeing. At this point, though, you are talking about classic bullish divergence developing on the 4-hour. So if this plays out, maybe it does help you pivot and run back up. If it does not play out, then you're talking about 53.73. If you break 53.73, then you're probably going to go head down to test the 200-day moving average. But that is DraftKings. Pretty interesting. So let's see. All right, we'll do these 3. I was looking at Nano Dimension earlier today. It had a nice day, I believe. Let me add GameStop and Wish. So Nano Dimension. MACD is a little bit choppy. Like you keep on going between red and green. So not too concerned with it. On the daily is where it was kind of looking interesting. Kind of like Class B classic bullish divergence, where you make pretty much the same low on price, but obviously your line is going up from one island to the next one on your MACD and on your RSI. So I was trying to see if this could be like a harmonic or something. It's just, there's a lot of different ways you could be looking at it, you know, maybe like a bat. And you're at the 75% retrace, not the 886. So I'm not too sure about that. Even with like, maybe you look at it like a cipher, but like you did not make a higher high from the first one to the next one. So I don't know. Regardless of, you did make like an X, A, B, C, D structure, and now you're trying to bottom out over the 200-day moving average. So you just want to hold 649. That's your support. Above 649, you're good, and you can get a reversal. But if you fall under that, well, even if you fall under that, you have the 200-day moving average. But if you fall under that, then you're talking all the way down to like 484. So it's either you reverse in this area, which is what you're currently trying to do, and what you did try to do today, had a very nice push, but it sold off. Or you could be headed even lower down to this area, which used to be your resistance. So that's what I'm looking at on Nano Dimension. GameStop pulled back today. Probably something like this. Yeah, that's what it would be like. So just like a triangle pattern, whatever you want to call it. Pretty neutral. It just depends on which way you break out. So you're nearing the apex of this triangle. I wouldn't even call it symmetrical. It's not that symmetrical, but whichever way you break out will probably be telling. Until then, there's not much divergence. So that's really what you're looking at here. All right, and then Wish. Arnie wants no part of the cipher, by the way. I'm not too sure what you mean by that. I know that he didn't make all the harmonics. Are you trying to say like he's not like a fan of the cipher? I don't know. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I'm just confused. Wish, there's not really enough data for me to give you like an answer here. I mean, it can't be a crab because you did not make a deep enough retrace at the B point. And then obviously that's crazy extended. So yeah, just not enough data for me to really give you an answer. You don't have a pattern or divergence. I mean, it's a very new stock, but the guy says, yeah, I mean, he doesn't consider the cipher part of his harmonics. Yeah, for sure. I mean, of course, like when that's like his lives work. I mean, I'm sure he's done a lot of, I know he's done a lot of other like really cool things, but like, you know, harmonics are like a major part of his career and livelihood. So of course, like you'd understand, he'd be very protective of his research and what he believes in. Rightfully so. You want to look at Neo? We looked at it last night. Did we look at it? Alright, so we'll do 2 more. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 20 likes, please. Okay. Let's at least get to 20 likes. I know it's a bad day in the market, but we're all showing up here. Everybody right now is the real ones that are showing up. Alright, this is going to be the last one for real. Tattooed Chef, alright? That's it. I need to sleep. So, GRWG. Just kind of range bound between 43 and 53. Good news is you're at the bottom of the range. Bad news is you don't have a pattern or divergence. So literally all you're hoping is that you bounce right here because it's your support. It was your resistance here, support on this candle, and you're trying to find support here again. That's where you closed it the day at. So just hope that that's where it kind of pivots at soon. Maybe you can look at it like this. I'm not a huge fan of triangles just because regardless, it just depends on which way you break out of, which is pretty easy to tell regardless of a structure. So a little bit neutral, but you are in a lower risk area compared to up there, obviously. Neo, I've been saying this for quite a few streams now, still looks good. You know, at first I was looking at it like you need to be above 38, but the buyers just randomly decided that they want to be bouncing at 34, and now you're trying to bounce at 34 instead of 38. So you want to basically get above 38 before you fall under 34. And if you can do that, you could see much higher prices. But obviously you're hoping that more life can come back into the EV sector soon. And then final ticker for tonight, Tattooed Chef. I'm not too sure. I mean, let's see. That's way too deep from X to B, I think. Yeah, that's like way too deep. So, no. If we look at it like this. Oh, kind of like a bat. So, yeah, so you not only are you at the 886 from X to D, you're also at the 2618 from B to D. So what I really love on harmonics is when both your X to D and your B to D retraces are both PCZs, right? Because a lot of the times you only get one of these numbers to be at the PCZ, but sometimes you can get both of them to be showing you like a very precise Fibonacci sequence level, and that's what I really prefer. It just makes it stronger in my opinion. And you did kind of bounce already at that PCZ, but of course, like you don't only want to be trading off the pattern completion zone. You want more factors there. You don't have a pattern. You don't have a double bottom yet. You don't really have any divergence on the daily or the 4-hour. So need some more work. Do you have a support? Not really. So you'd probably want to double bottom, show some classic bullish divergence, and this could be great, but it's like there's more work that has to be done, right? We already did look at DraftKings earlier. It's just kind of in between a support and resistance, and yeah. Alright, I think I'm gonna get out of here though. Feeling sick. Obviously, a lot of people are either not happy about the red day or celebrating 420 or just doing other things. But thank you to everybody who did show up to the stream. Really appreciate all the support. Good luck in the market tomorrow. And Yeah, peace out. Appreciate everything. Hopefully I feel better tomorrow so I could have more energy for everybody. That's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. EST. Hit that like button. Let's go. We got the 20 likes. We did it. All right, I'll leave the replay up. It's whatever. But peace.